New tonight, Rochester Mayor Malik Evans sharing his plans for progress in the city this year. His priorities include tackling the growing concerns around youth violence and combating poverty. 13 WHAM's Carla Rogner shares the highlights from the mayor's State of the City address tonight. Carla, good evening.
Yeah, good evening, Matt. Mayor Evans shared many plans and updates on ways to invest in Rochester and reduce poverty, which he says is the city's greatest challenge. He says Rochester is seeing a reduction in violence, but there's still a long way to go, especially when it comes to young people getting involved in crime. Rochester Mayor Malik Evans says the state of the city is healthy, strong, and full of hope, sharing many ways he hopes to continue progress. Mayor Evans says tackling violent crime is the most pressing issue. The city, which remains under a gun violence state of emergency, has seen a 44% decrease in shootings compared to this time last year. But there has been an increase in young people getting involved in crimes like car thefts.
That's why this year, we're focusing our progress through the lens of youth to find every possible opportunity to support them.
The mayor says city programs like Summer of Opportunity, which connects young people with jobs, will help combat youth violence. The city is also bringing mental health teams to our centers to work with kids and continue outreach in schools through the expanding Pathways to Peace program. The mayor also touching on the city's ongoing plans to improve parts of downtown, like this corner of Main and Clinton and the Rock the Riverway program. He says events like the Jazz Festival and creating the Business Improvement District will help downtown feel more safe and bring in opportunities.
While even though downtown Rochester is one of our safest areas of the city, a lot of people think it's dangerous and won't go there. We have to fix that perception with more events to attract more people to the center city.
The mayor shared plans to use funding from the state and the American Rescue Plan Act to increase opportunities in neighborhoods that were redlined, areas he says see the highest crime rates in the city.
We're greenlining formerly redlined neighborhoods with home ownership. I can't think of a better place to inspire hope and deliver opportunity than an area of the city where that opportunity was not giving to them. An area of the city where opportunity was deliberately denied to people of color.
The mayor also commented on how the city's history of segregation and discrimination continues to impact people in Rochester. He says he's focused on finding ways to increase access to opportunities for the city's Black and brown residents, whether it be for things like housing, business, or education. You can watch the full State of the City address on 13wham.com. Matt?
Carla, thank you. Rochester police are investigating after potential evidence. We begin with the horrific death of a Rochester man who was set on fire at his own home. The teen who killed him is now going to prison. Good evening. I'm Matt Malloy. It's a case that shocked the community. 13 WHAM Cheyenne Walker attending today's sentencing of Adriel Riley. Cheyenne, good evening.
Good evening, Matt. As Adriel Riley was being sentenced, he appeared distracted and kept looking towards the doors to get a glimpse of his mother and some other family members who weren't allowed in the court. Police say because of past disruptions. It was an emotional day, both inside and outside of Judge Romeo's courtroom Wednesday, as Adriel Riley's mother watched her son get sentenced to 15 years to life in prison through a small pane of glass on the courtroom door.
You took my son from me.
Riley was just 14 years old when he and another teen, Xavion Perry, doused 53-year-old Stephen Amenhauser with a flammable liquid and lit him on fire in his Lyle Avenue apartment. Amenhauser later died from his injuries. In February, Riley was convicted of second-degree murder and criminal possession of a weapon, though he was acquitted of arson.
He's innocent. You can't say somebody murdered somebody by setting them on fire and then say they not guilty for the arson. He gonna come home, all right? Free AJ until AJ free. That's it, that's all.
Riley did not address the court Wednesday. Prosecutors say this was a heinous crime and hopes justice was served on behalf of Amenhauser.
What he did in Stephen Amenhauser's own room was not only prey upon an innocent victim, a man, but his actions were just pure evil. Even after the fact, as I stated, he didn't help Stephen in any way. Stephen was burning alive on the sidewalk, and he didn't help Stephen in any way. And then he tried to get out of it, help himself, and it's just pure evil.
Frank Umbrino, captain of the Major Crimes Unit, says the horrific nature of this tragedy should wake the community up.
There's a lot of failures here. The biggest failure is on the actions of the defendants. The big assists go to all the agencies that have been involved in these people's lives over the years who have failed up until the age of 14 when he lit somebody on fire. Not only was the act in itself disgusting, but what led up to the act was disgusting. The failures in the system over the years and the individuals involved in this case. And people need to wake up and see what we're doing is not working.
And prosecutors say based on Riley's age, this was a maximum sentence allowed under the law. In January, 18-year-old Xavion Perry pled guilty to manslaughter and was sentenced to 25 years.
New details tonight on the arrest of two men accused of trying to install a credit card skimming device on an ATM on East Henrietta Road. 13's Jackie DePere tells us how they were caught and what we can do to protect ourselves.
Sheriff's deputies say it started with a 911 call that suspects were trying to install a credit card skimming device at the ESL ATM on East Henrietta Road last month.
They go around and they try to get as many people's information as they can because that's more money. So they're trying to hit every electronic device that they can find.
Deputies say they found two men and a 17-year-old who matched the suspects' descriptions at the CVS next door. According to the police report, the credit card skimmer was not found on the suspects, but rather on a shelf, hidden behind merchandise with a putty knife inside the store.
They tried to conceal it inside CVS, and the deputies did a great job, searched everywhere and found it, and were able to track it back to them.
Deputies say the teen told investigators the group receives instructions from a Russian man who said he'd pay them $1,000 for every skimmer installed.
We were aware of these people, who they were, that they may be in the area.
The FBI says card skimmers can be used to capture data or record a person's PIN number. Fraud experts say there's been a spike in criminals installing skimmers nationwide, most often at ATMs or gas stations.
Could be monetary damage in the thousands, but second to that, there could be a lot of personal damage down the road. Because once, if the fraudster is taking that information and if he's selling it on the dark web, who knows really where it's going?
Dr. Michael Skiba recommends doing a visual inspection of the ATM to see if something looks off before using it, and suggests an app called Card Skimmer to help identify if there are Bluetooth skimmers nearby.
So I think it's a combination of just general awareness, using some technology, and just checking in for a moment.